This is the Nissan Magnite Facelift. This is the top variant, the Tecna Plus Turbo CVT, which is priced at rupees 14.36 lakhs on road Mumbai. This is the key of the vehicle. There are some interesting buttons because if you press this button, you can turn on the car if you're in a 60-meter radius of the car. This is obviously to unlock the car, this is to lock the car, and that's about it. This being the facelift has got a lifted face because there are some changes to the front. And before that, let's straight away open the engine bay. There is insulation there. That is the turbo engine, which is kind of very dirty right now. I don't know why. And you can see the vibrations as well. Yes, because this is a 3-cylinder engine at the end of the day. So what they have done is made the grille bigger here. And I think it has got sort of a piano black finishing as well. Meanwhile, there's a camera here. It gets a 360-degree parking camera. And this thing has been revised. The front bumper has been revised. So it's a little different as well. This is chrome here. Meanwhile, this was not there before. So they have added this piano black finishing here, which is right between the light and the grille. These lights have biprojectors and these are LEDs, of course. This is the LED DRL. Meanwhile, the indicator is functioning here at the moment. It has got 22 LEDs on the inside, lot of chrome as well, and you get front fogs too, which is kind of nice because the fogs are placed so lower down now, they will definitely help. Now obviously the grille looks very much like a Datsun car. In fact, this car seems to have evolved from a Datsun. More on that when we are driving the car. There are cuts and creases here on the bonnet. The side doesn't reveal any changes as such other than the fact that it gets new alloy wheels. Yes, these are new 16-inch alloy wheels, which look quite cool actually. The tire size happens to be 195/60/16. So dual tone, diamond cut, all those things are obviously there. Get this body side cladding as well. You can see the suspension too. Tall springs. It says Nissan Magnite here. There's a camera here. The length of this car is almost 4 meters. It is actually 3994 mm long. Meanwhile, the wheelbase is 2.5 meters and the ground clearance is 205 mm, which is very good because this car doesn't have to worry about speed breakers at all. You get these chrome door handles. You get a request sensor here, which you will never use only because if the key is in your pocket, you just have to come near the car, and when you are under 1 meter near, the car will automatically unlock. And if you go 1.8 meters further away from the car, it will automatically lock. The whole system works flawlessly well. One of the best keyless entry systems here. Obviously, the Kiger has the same thing. Indicator functioning here at the moment. These roof rails are functional. They can take up to 50 kgs of weight as well. There's a shark fin antenna. This is a dual tone color. That's the reason the roof is finished in black. This car comes in 12 colors, 5 of which are dual tone and there are 7 which are monotone or single tone colors. At the rear, the major change happens to be these 3D effect tail lights, but they are halogen. So this is halogen. This is obviously the reverse light and the lights actually look quite nice. That chrome connecting bar is actually part of an accessory. It's not standard here. It says Turbo CVT. You get 4 parking sensors at the rear. There's a rear parking camera here and there is the exhaust right underneath. That is also vibrating because 3-cylinder engine. You get a rear wiper, washer, you get a high mounted stop lamp. The washer fluid comes out from here. Meanwhile, some glue has fallen here which is simply refusing to come out. I've tried a lot. It simply does not come out at all. Straight away, let's open the boot of the vehicle. It's not the biggest boot in the segment. The loading lip is also on the high side. 336 liters here. Meanwhile, there's a hook here, another hook there. The light has been taped. I don't know why. I don't know why that has been done, but yeah, that has been taped. And the spare wheel is obviously smaller sized. It's not an alloy. It is a 165/80/14 orange color steel wheel. Now, if you want to increase the boot carrying capacity to 690 liters, all you have to do is push this seat ahead because it folds in 60/40 format, which is good because then you can obviously carry a lot more stuff. There's a request sensor on the left side as well, which is amazing. The door pockets are big enough. In fact, this car has got 19 liters of storage space, which is good. Okay, 60/40 split here. These are quilted seats. It has some technology called as the heat guard. It reflects UV rays outside, so it makes sure that you will feel cool because the way it has been designed, the quilt definitely helps in ensuring that you're very comfortable here. But the seat is a bit on the upright side. Center passenger does not get a head. There's no hump as such here. And now you get a USB-C charging socket. You get rear AC vents as well. This is scooped out. There's a magazine holder here. There are no height adjustable seat belts. It does get 6 airbags. There's a handle to hold on to. And there's a center armrest here, which gets twin cup holders along with a phone holder as well. So yeah, you've got magazine pockets on both the sides. And I love the fact that Nissan has given it this leatherette finish on the door pads as well as on the dashboard. It looks very premium. So this is obviously soft, otherwise a lot of hard plastics expectedly. This does not illuminate at night, and this car obviously has a lot of accessories like this one, which is having the Nissan badging here, which illuminates. So this is there on all the doors of the car, which is obviously an accessory. I think there's a storm brewing up because there's a lot of dust flying almost everywhere. So we have to quickly rush inside the car. So definitely the car looks really nice and smart, even though it has its design based to Datsun. But I like the design of the car. Again, door pockets are big enough here. It says Magnite here. Again, nice treatment. So they've spent a lot of attention on the design of the vehicle. This again illuminates at night, which looks super cool. Only these front to power windows, they illuminate at night, the rest do not. These are the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. The driver's side is one touch up and down, which is seamless. Very nice seats, extremely amazing. In fact, I love the whole orange treatment on the inside. This is the copper color of the interior, which is also the exterior color of this car, which by the way is the new color. This is frameless, and when you adjust it, now you tend to touch it, so obviously it becomes a fingerprint magnet. There's a mirror here, there is no mirror here. There's a microphone here, I think. What is this? What is this? There's light placement here on the top. The glove box is big, 10 liters, and it gets the cooling function as well. In fact, there's a light on the inside, so yeah, it's cooled as well as has a light. Someone has left their chashma on the inside, ulta chashma, so we're just going to keep it back. Hard plastics, lot of hard plastics. However, this is soft material. I like this double stitching as well. I like the double stitching on the seats too. Very premium. You have got some amount of storage space here. Got twin cup holders, a handbrake with leather sort of finish on it with dual stitching. The problem is from this side now, I cannot see only what is written here. Obviously, I should be able to judge, but people who are buying this car, it might be their first car, so they will accidentally get into L mode rather than being in drive mode, because you're like frustrated all the time and you're like, which mode should I get into? You're like, fast, let's get here, and then you are in the wrong mode. That also happens. By the way, there's a USB-A charging socket, a 12-volt charging socket, some storage space here, and a wireless charging pad. This actually turns blue when the phone is charging, otherwise it is red right now, which you can see. This is an 8-inch screen, which is not great in terms of quality, but lower variants actually get a 9-inch screen. So this is frameless with this nice surround as well. Now there's not much in this screen that you have to play with, or you can play with, because it's kind of basic as such. So there's driving eco, which actually gives you a lot of information of how you have driven in terms of acceleration, and gives you coaching as well. Meanwhile, there's this 360-degree camera. Quality is not that great. Guidelines are not adaptive. You can see the guidelines, but they don't move along with the steering wheel when you move the car, and you have a top view as well. 360-degree camera is good, but again, quality is not the best. And it has got 4-color ambient lighting, so it shows you some blue light here. It also shows you some blue light there. So the ambient lighting only works at the front as such. And it has got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, both of which are wireless. It has got a 6-speaker system, so there are 4 speakers and there are 2 tweeters. This is the Archimedes 3D sound system. Listen to it. Meanwhile, you can also opt for JBL speakers. Now that again is part of optional kit. The steering wheel has this orange finishing here. The steering is the same as before. However, now it has got this piano black finishing. Earlier it had this silver finishing. So sort of an all black steering wheel right now. The horn, it is decent. These buttons are for cruise control. This is for the audio system. Actually, this is for the cruise control. This is for that multi-information display. Meanwhile, there's a button here that is to activate the cruise control. So not very seamless. This is for traction control and this is for headlight leveler. If you notice, both the pedals are very close to each other, and that steering column now, that is exposed, so you can see it move. So that's something which could have been concealed better. There's a proper dead pedal here, which is a good thing. And that brings me to the fact that the steering only adjusts for height, not for reach, but that's fine at this price point. If you notice another thing, these AC vents are very much like the Lamborghini Urus. So yeah, design treatment is amazing, but there is no sunroof here. Now you might say, at this price, what are you expecting? Well, cars costing less than this actually have a sunroof, because the XUV 3XO's lower variants also get a sunroof. The Nexon gets it and all those things. So yeah, I expected a sunroof here. Now to browse through the screen, it is not that difficult. For starters, when you turn on the car, it actually shows you the Nissan logo on this particular screen. And this screen is not very impressive because sometimes it's a bit laggy, but then gets the job done. This particular screen is actually 7-inch. It's a TFT screen. This is for the multi-information display, and you have got a lot of modes. So you can change the modes like this, simply pressing a button. 5.7 kilometers per liter. I don't know how it is saying that. There you have got twin trip meters, which obviously gives you a lot of information. And then I can come into the tire pressure monitor. and it also tells you when is your next service. Then you can dim, and then there is back to the same cluster mode. This is the temperature meter. This is actually the fuel meter of the vehicle. And then if you want to browse through this, you see this? If you want to browse through this, you have to press a button. Where do you press that button? You press it here. In fact, if you open the door, it shows you that as well. This seems to be quite advanced. I definitely like it the way it has been done. It's good in terms of quality. Automatic headlights. Wipers are not automatic, but then I'm asking for too much. You've got physical buttons here, and the best thing is that these switches for the air conditioning are super duper awesome because they have a display inside. So yeah, the air conditioning is actually decent, and you can really use it like this. Super duper awesome. These physical controls are a boon, no denying that fact. And then I can shut the AC control very fast. It has got a PM 2.5 air filter as well. By the way, you get ISOFIX child seat mounts, and you get a proper seat belt. So earlier it had a lap belt, but now it has a proper seat belt. It also has seat belt reminders. It has got hill start assist. It's got a plethora of features in terms of safety, and obviously it did well in terms of the NCAP rating. We'll talk about all that by starting the drive. Let's go. It revs till, oh my god, 6,500 RPM in neutral, which is amazing because when the car is idling, obviously there's some vibrations. Let's go. All right, let's start driving. Let's turn on the car. There the Magnite comes. That's cool. They've updated that graphic. That's kind of nice. And let's turn off the air conditioning straight away. Let's turn on a specialist timing gear here. They've actually updated the UI here, so the graphics are a bit more mature. Earlier they felt very comical somehow. And it also has a puddle lamp which comes out of the door, which obviously is an accessory. Straight away, let's start driving by putting this car into, okay, I put it in L mode, but I should be in drive mode, and off we go. A little bit of wheel spin here and there, and you can feel the bumps in this car at lower speeds because the suspension is on the stiffer side. So the springs are stiffened up, they are tall, and that has been done in the interest of keeping the car stable at higher speeds because of the low weight. And that means that when you go over bad bumps at lower speeds, you can feel it. Plus it also thuds through bad bumps like this. Yeah, you can feel that as well. But the ride actually improves as you speed up. So the faster you go, the better the ride becomes, and high speed stability is nice here as well. Now the thing is that an overtaking zone? For me, everything is an overtaking zone, so why not? And here we go. See, I'm speeding up, so the ride is becoming better, but yeah, it does crash through, it thumps through little aggressively because over bad bumps, this car is not very comfortable naturally because of the way the suspension has been set up. And again, this is a low cost platform because of which you can feel that the insulation levels could be better. So this is the CMF A plus platform. So CMF A is the one on the Quid and also on the Datsun Redigo. However, the plus is for wider dimensions of the car, although this is not the widest car in the segment. This is actually by far the narrowest car in the segment, but that does not matter because there's decent amount of space. The packaging and all is nicely done here. So in terms of the way the ride is, I'm not very impressed, and the handling also isn't that great because the steering feels a bit slacky. It's not very responsive a steering, it's very light, but making a U-turn and all is very easy because you go like this and you pull and then you turn, and the car manages that very well. Now notice one thing, the steering is ultra light. Okay, it is super duper light, which makes it a boon to drive this car in the city. It's effortless to drive in the city because of the way the steering is super duper light here. That's something I really like. Okay, that person's giving me space. Two cars can go from here because this one is obviously quite narrow. No problem here. And onto the throttle, yeah, engine is actually very good here. So if you're planning to buy a Magnite, get the turbo. Avoid at all cost getting the NA engine because the NA engine is a 1 liter 3-cylinder naturally aspirated motor with 72 horsepower and 96 Newton meters of torque. It doesn't have much grunt, it's not powerful, it's not fast, but it gets the job done. But the turbo is actually quite amazing even with just 100 horsepower because of the lightweight of this car. This car weighs 1103 kgs, weighing 94 kgs more than the NA engine. I don't think the turbo weighs 94 kgs, the turbo weighs around 8 to 10 kgs, but overall everything added all together along with more features in the higher variants, like the turbo obviously comes in higher variants. The end result is the weight goes to 1100 kgs, 1103 kgs to be precise, which is still quite light for a car of this size and with 100 horsepower and 152 Newton meters for the CVT or 160 Newton meters for the manual. There's good amount of grunt, and off we go. We're going to do the brake test, and there's going to be a nice thump there. Yeah, and brakes are not very strong here. You could hear the ABS pulsating. Problem is that the brake feel is not very positive when initially you touch the brakes, so that progressive feel is not there. But the engine is a star here, because this 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine is actually refined once you're on the move. Lower down, obviously you can feel a bit of the vibrations on the steering wheel, on the gear lever, on the pedals as well. But as you start moving now, things settle in beautifully well, becoming quite refined. In fact, turbo lag is very well contained with the CVT, and the rubber band effect is also very well contained. You don't feel it. But then you only get 3-cylinder engines, because of which naturally vibrations are a given. But remember one thing, 3 cylinders means better efficiency, and the most efficient of the whole range. There are 4 powertrain options. There's a 5-speed manual with the 1 litre NA. There's a 5-speed AMT with the 1 litre NA. With the 1 litre turbo, you get a 5-speed manual, which is actually the most efficient, and then you get the 1 litre turbo with the CVT, which is the least efficient of the whole range. This car has a 40 litre fuel tank, but expect a mileage between 10 to 14 kilometers per litre depending on your driving style. When you drive it sedately, it's perfect in terms of the way the gearbox works here, because obviously it's a CVT. However, trust me, as soon as you push it hard, the rubber band effect comes into play. So it's not very prominent in the lower end of the rev range or in the mid range, but once you get into the top end, the engine becomes very loud, very noisy, a little bit of vibrations creep in, and obviously the rubber band effect comes in plenty. And off we go, come on, respond. So you don't have any manual controls on the gear at all, and there's an L mode here, which is sort of the sport mode, which will make sure that it will keep it in a lower ratio all the time to give you better performance. And when I put it in L mode, the performance is such that that you can overtake BMWs in a flash as well. That's the kind of punch. Okay, just kidding, the BMW was slow there. But yeah, the steering feels better at higher speeds in the sense that it doesn't feel very wavy. The car also feels more stable, but this is not a steering wheel which really inspires confidence, because it's a very slow steering and it does turn quite a lot. So, you know, the number of locks are a lot. So this car isn't great around the corners as well. It doesn't like to be pushed around the corners. The ride at low speeds is not the best. However, what you will appreciate is that high speed stability is good enough here, and the steering is light, which means that driving in the city, it is an effortless car to drive. You can cruise along without having to worry at all. I mean, it's an effortless car to drive, especially if you opt for the CVT, because it is obviously offering you the convenience. And with the convenience also, you have to pay a little bit more money. You have to pay 1.4 lakhs more for the CVT when compared to the manual, and you have to pay an additional similar amount of 1.4 lakhs from the NA to the turbo. Meanwhile, if you want to opt for the AMT, you have to pay around rupees 70,000. So basically, it's the norm in the industry that if you go from a manual to an automatic, which is an AMT, you pay around 50 to 70,000 more or 80,000 more. And if you go from a regular manual to a CVT or a torque converter, you end up going to pay around 1.5 lakhs more. And from an NA to a turbo, between 1 to 1.5 lakhs more. But trust me, it is worth every penny paying for the turbo, because the performance is so much better with the turbo. Trust me, the car does pull nice and strong. It doesn't feel lethargic in any way. Turbo lag is very well contained. It's a bit on the louder side, which is okay if you like the sportiness, because I like the sound of the engine, even though it's a 3-cylinder engine. But it lunges ahead. It doesn't give you kick in the pants feel, because power delivery is very linear. It's very smooth as well. There are no flat spots in the power delivery. It's just that lower end vibrations can be felt, and then the top end, the sound becomes very loud. But that sound is not really music to the ears, because it's more coarse. In fact, Nissan has created some confusion by changing the name of the variants from the XV, XL, XE to now Vizia, Accenta, Technia, N-Connecta and all. I mean, don't make things so complex. I know they might be having some significance at the back end, but for Indian consumers, LXI, VXI, ZXI, yay! Now this car comes with a 3-year, 1 lakh kilometer warranty. In fact, Nissan claims that this car has the least maintenance cost in the segment at just 39 paisa per kilometer, which is also quite amazing. The only problem is that Nissan's sales and service network isn't as large as say Maruti, Hyundai, Honda, Mahindra or Tata, because they just have one major product, a mass market product on sale. The X-Trail is like a brand builder, and the Magnite is the mass market favorite from Nissan. However, this car definitely deserves to sell in better numbers, because it's a lot better when compared to a lot of its rivals. Now it obviously costs more than the Kiger, with which it shares almost everything, because the Kiger doesn't get as many features, but then Renault has more products like the Triber. Nissan is going to come up with its own version as soon as this year. In fact, Nissan is also planning to get a Creta rival next year, which is obviously going to be based on the Duster, which is also coming, but Renault has been very slow in getting that car. Now look at this. I'm going to take a quick U-turn and look at how effortless it is. Okay, one hand operation onto the throttle. this is with traction control on, and it does not center fast enough that I was heading all the way to the right into the divider. Yeah, the steering does not center fast enough. It centers. It's not that it doesn't do it like some Maruti Suzuki cars, but it doesn't do it fast enough. It's a bit lethargic in that sense. It's that time to test the acceleration of this car, which means we turn off traction control. This we reset, and hazard lights off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, revs to 2000 RPM, and off we go. Come on, show me what you got. Ah, yeah, the CVT. I don't like CVT gearboxes, to be honest. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 11 seconds, which is very impressive actually. It's quite fast considering this car has just got 100 bhp of power, but power to weight ratio is the name of the game here. That was really quick, yeah, the way this car accelerated. Let's do the wiper test. Decent amount of spray on offer. The wipers seem to be a bit small, not very big, because not covering all the area as such, but then it gets the job done, obviously. Now this car is available in 30 variants when you factor in dual tone colors. Technically it has 18 variants, but then because of dual tone colors now that becomes 30 variants. That's a lot of variants for a car, but then I think about the next one and I realize this car has not many variants at all, because the next one has 108 freaking variants. Now this car has got 4-star rating from Global NCAP, which is safe enough, but under the new norms, how does it fare? Let's wait for Bharat NCAP to test it as well. It is having 67% high tensile steel and is being exported to 65 countries, and Nissan is actually promoting this car on the internet or through its website by saying that this is a global model. What's been sold abroad, you're getting the same car in India, which is actually a good thing, right? Because they say one world, one car sort of a philosophy, which Ford obviously had at a point of time. Okay, let's do the 0 to 100 km per hour acceleration test once again. This is obviously reset traction control. Now they automatically, it turns off at approximately 50 kilometers per hour. That's kind of a bummer. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and off we go. Come on, let's see what it does. By the way, Nissan sells around 2,000 units of this car every month, slightly more than 2,000 units, which is decent numbers considering that it's playing in a segment which is extremely competitive. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 11.16 seconds. So it continuously goes in a similar timing, which means performance is actually good enough. The only thing is this car doesn't really excel in terms of the dynamics, but it does offer you the features, and that's something majority of the buyers are looking out for. Now prices obviously start at rupees 7.43 lakhs for the base variant, going all the way to 14.36 lakhs for this variant. Nissan launches car in 2020. The facelift came after 4 years. In fact, its brother from another mother. It starts at around 7.19 lakhs, goes all the way to 13.29 lakhs. I'm obviously talking about the Renault Kiger. Meanwhile, the Brezza starts above 10 lakhs and goes up to 16.63 lakhs. Who is buying a Brezza for that much money? Well, they buy lower variants, and they obviously buy the CNG for better running costs, because people are obviously cost sensitive towards economy as well, especially in this segment. It's kind of unfortunate that there is no diesel, there is no CNG, and this turbo petrol engine is obviously a little thirsty as well. So that's the reason why people opt for the 1 liter NA engine, which doesn't have the performance, which actually brings me to the future of Nissan in India. What's happening? Where are they heading? Well, for starters, they have sold their 51% stake in the manufacturing operations to Renault completely. They are not having any sort of manufacturing in India anymore. So Renault is going to be contract manufacturing the car for them in India, which should continue for a longer duration of time, because till now they have signed up till 2027, and beyond that obviously they should be doing it because it will be economies of scale. Both of the car companies use the same platform, the same engines, the same powertrains. Essentially it's like Skoda VW sort of a thing, but there the operations are very different. Let's not get into that. Volkswagen and Skoda are obviously owned by the same company as such, but Renault is a complete different company altogether. They have an alliance, so that has been changed right now because obviously Nissan is in trouble globally. However, I see that Nissan as a brand has a lot of potential because they have some amazing cars like the Patrol, obviously the GTR, the Godzilla. That is, I mean, so iconic. In fact, they also mentioned that this engine has some sort of influence from the R35, which is a little hard to believe. Just because the engine code starts with the same letters does not mean that this car has anything to do with the GTR, obviously. That said, I just hope that Nissan is able to keep the momentum up, bring us newer models, better models to India, because we really need Nissan in India. More competition is always a good thing, because with more competition, it means brands like these will have to make sure that people don't reach the service centers all the time. Let's quickly change the cluster mode. I've turned off traction control because we are going to make some sound, some noise. Let's try and do that as well. And off we go. Okay, look at the steering, okay? Okay, look at this. It centers very slowly as such, not very fast in centering. So guys, this is my video of the Nissan Magnite Facelift. Go and support Nissan. Nissan makes some amazing cars. Hopefully after the Magnite, we get more global models, and since the X-Trail is, I think, no longer on sale or whatever, sold out or something of that sort, hopefully we get the Patrol as well, because the Land Cruiser is here, which means the Land Cruiser's immediate rival, the Patrol, should come as well. And I'm going to end this video by showing you some action shots of the Patrol to show you what Nissan really is. Bye bye.